Hello and welcome to Canasta with Lindsay1. Let me introduce myself. I'm Fern Lindsay, and I do believe that we are the very first live streaming Canasta broadcast on YouTube. So thanks for joining me. I am a competitive Canasta player and competitive person. Um, right now, I'm going to just play a very casual game just to test my software and engineering. And you'll watch how to set up on Canasta and have some fun with it the next time you play. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. Hello. So I'm Fern Lindsay, and on my game software, I'm Lindsay. So I am Lindsay1 on almost every gaming platform. I was Lindsay1 10 years ago on Game Velvet, which was the very first um, halfway decent Canasta site. And I would say that Canasta Junction is less than halfway decent, probably about offering about 20% of the capability of actual streaming play. But let's at least try to start a game here. So here, let me go back to the main menu. Once you download the software, go to the account and set up your own login information. You will get a player screen, and if you're new, you'll have a player rank of 1. Don't worry, the player rank on Canasta Junction is meaningless. It simply means how much time you spend on Canasta Junction, not anywhere near the level of play. So if you're a pretty good player and you've decided just to join the Canasta Junction community, please do not be wrapped up in this. It only means that people who get to level 20 and above have nothing better to do with their lives. So you'll get there, and even anybody who considers this ranking to be important are not really worthy players. So let's go to the main menu, and let's, while I'm here, let me just check my status. So Canasta Junction offers some of they call them duplicate they call them duplicate duplicate canasta, but they're not duplicate canasta. They're a method of playing 6 hands for the highest total points. Nothing to do with canasta strategy, but I sometimes like to just dabble, keep my name on the scoreboard. So I played a couple of these rounds last night, and here you can see that I was the top scorer in 2 out of there's 4 regular events, and then there's this champion category. The champion category gives you 15 prime points instead of, I don't know even what you get for winning the regular categories, 5 points, something like that. So again, do not worry about paying tokens, which you purchase here. Do not worry about buying tokens for these duplicates because they have nothing to do with Canasta skill. They are simply a method for Canasta Junction to collect your quarters and present some competitive card structure, which is not at all to do with playing Canasta. So here, let's play a little game. And since I've introduced myself, I'm going to go off camera and get back to the gameplay. So let's see. I'm just going to try to join a game that's not locked. And I also prefer games that do not require a level. I think anybody who requests a level here is not a good player just because they don't understand the basics. That in Canasta Junction, you just get a level from being bored and having nothing better to do. I also do not play with tables that have this robot icon. What this robot icon means is that someone gets disconnected, a robot will come in automatically to their seat, and then that person can never come back in to play. So so I try not to enter those games because people often get disconnected on this website, and they can get back on sometimes. So I try not to join these games with restricted that are restricted to higher players. So here, let's see. I'll just see what's going on with this group, or let me see. Get wake up a little bit. They already have 2 players. They're ready to start. So I'll just try to join them and say hi. Whenever I log in, I say hello. I try to be friendly. All right, so these are the rules that came up from the host. You may not go out with a pair and a wild card. And I apologize if sometimes I get caught up in the, oh. Here's someone I know. Oh, well, this looks like another disconnect problem. So let me see if this. So we have to leave. Again, this is a real problem with Canasta Junction. So this person has just logged in. They can't have a level under 1. That makes 0 sense. I really don't like people that, oh, it's asking me to log back in again. Sorry, guys. That's what happens often when you try to get to a table. And there's something wrong with the table. You have to log out and log back in. So I apologize if this isn't going very smoothly. Let's go back to find a game with no password, not logged in. Let's see. Let's see if I can join up. See who's here. And I'm also not used to playing this on my computer. But in order for me to do this YouTube capture, it was necessary. Let's see what's going on here. I hope Esther finds this table. She's an awesome player, and I first met her. Didn't know her. I actually met her online, and we played for a bunch of times. She would ask me where I was from. I would lie. I would ask her where she was from. She probably told the truth, but I wasn't interested in getting to know people through my virtual gameplay. And it turns out, just randomly, we were playing at a table one day with another friend of mine who does know me, and also knew Esther, and said, you two have to meet. And then I was terribly embarrassed that I had given her a wrong name, but we became friendly. So now let's see who's at the table. I am not the host. And if we can ever get a game going on this weird site, then we'll have a chance to talk some strategy. So, may not go out. Here we have an open wild card. Open wilds. Okay, so this table rules. This table rule is no requirement to have 5 of a kind in order to use your wild cards. So that's nice. And let me see. Did I say hello to my partner? Yep. All right. So this game of base is called Base of 3, where you can put down wild cards or start a new pair and a wild card at any time, is quite popular. It's not the same way that I normally play, and that most people I know generally try to play a game called Base of 5, which is standard Canasta rules, where you can only start a new rank with 3 of a kind, and you can only add wild cards after the initial meld. You can only add wild cards when there's 5 natural cards in that Canasta. So that's the more common rules. And I apologize, I'm trying to talk while I am trying to play and not look like a moron to my partner. I don't want to make too many mistakes. So I'm pretty much ready to meld. I just want to see if my partner melds or if I get an ace. And maybe she'll meld wild cards. Could be one of those days. And soon we'll find out what's going on. She seems to have a little pause here. So maybe she's counting, having trouble with mechanism with the card, with putting cards down. So I'll just chit-chat a little bit. Okay, well, since there were 2 8s down there, actually this was probably the third 8, I think I'll just go ahead and take that because That, even though there's not much there, I think all the 8s are in the pile, and I would not want to miss the chance. I also know that there's a jack in the pile and a 9, so I think I'll just meld like that. I think my partner threw the 9s. Or not. Probably doesn't have too many, unless maybe she was being, maybe I have a fabulous partner who was being sneaky and discarded the thing that she had a pair of. Maybe she was pairing, and so discarded her 3rd, her 3 of a kind, but we'll find out soon enough. Anyway, my left-hand opponent is the one I'm worried about. She had thrown a jack, and she had thrown a 7. Since I don't know them, I'm going to assume that they made honest. She made an honest discard, and I'm a little worried then. I'll hold on to my 7 until I find out whether my partner has a chance to signal at all. And it wasn't much of a pile, but certainly I thought my partner would have some kings, or, you know, something a little more useful for me. But Canasta Michael's a little slow. So I think that 7 discard was in response to the fact that I picked the deck up with a 7, and I'm not going to count it towards an accurate signal. At this point, I'm not too worried about giving my left-hand opponent the deck, because now there's 2 extra 7s in there. So if they get the deck, they won't be able to go out too soon. I think we have a little time. Let's see what everybody else is doing. Well, I thought they might be chit-chatting. Let me just say. I think like everybody's just a little bit slow, so it's kind of hard to discuss strategy. If we had a fast-paced game, like one of the games with my regular partners, then I might have a chance to talk about what their moves were. And so my partner's on a roll here. She's gonna have a hard time maneuvering. He or she will have a hard time maneuvering the extra cards if she's on a new device. So we may be here for a little while. But I guess after I picked up the deck, I think there's only 2 7s in there, but safe for me to discard and get on with things. So that will be my first order of business. If my partner's 7 discard was accurate, then she'll have 4 7s in her hand, and it'll be important for her to know what I have. Oop. Not sure if that was intentional. So I could use one of my wild cards, but I don't really have much of a reason to, since I do not know. Oh, well, now I can get that 5 back. I wasn't really going to do that, but I know my partner felt badly about discarding the 5, or maybe it slipped from her hand. So I just decided to make her feel better by capturing it back again. Normally I wouldn't have bothered. I would have simply held on to my cards and waited to see where to use the wild card, but I decided to make my good deed for the day. Especially since I've been a little bit annoying. Okay, here they come. Hello. So let's see now. I'm going to actually leave my camera on for a little bit. I'm not used to talking to the camera, so you have to forgive me if I have a very sort of a poor webcam appeal. I'll be working on that in my free time after I finish this broadcast. So let's see, I think we've been recording maybe about 15-20 minutes, and this is kind of a slow game. So I'll speak for a little bit longer, then I might disconnect this and set up a game for you all later on. I just wanted you to kind of see the mechanics, see a little bit about how I would play, how I socialize at the same time, and when I don't know my partners, how to get into a game, and the key factors to look for. But primarily, do remember that players who have just joined with a level of 1 on this site are just as good as you are. They just had other things to do and decided not to devote hundreds of hours to the website that is frustrating and inaccurate. In any event, please leave all of your game playing open to new members, and let's expand the Canasta community. You'll have done a good deed, and certainly feel like you'll make new friends that way. Let's play this game and see if the next one picks up the speed a little bit. If Canasta Michael can figure out their cursor. Oops. I think I would have chucked some 6s, but whatever. Maybe I'll be able to go out and... Just going to hold on to this ace a little bit longer in case my partner decides to give away the deck. There's only 1 in there, so it could be that they might not be able to close them without this other ace being in the deck. So I have plenty of opportunities to go out, especially in the space of 3. So let's see what happens if I have the opportunity to go out without my opponents even closing a canasta. Always gratifying. And all right, time to make my move if I can. A little prompt over here. Now, theoretically, I think that was not such a good move because I'm afraid my partner might want to pick up the deck with the 7s, and I made it a little dirty for aces for her. So I probably should have thrown the 10. But we'll find out. We'll find out how this ends. And that clearly gives me a chance to throw the 10 next time in case I happen to pick up a more useful card for the opponents. Like, well, I guess there is nothing that's useful for them. They're sort of dead meat. All right, good. They've got that last queen. I'll close something, and my bad. All right, let's go on to the next game. Let's try to make this go a little faster. If it's still this slow and draggy, I'm going to shut down this broadcast and get back to you all with a little more exciting game later on. I'll check with some of my better players and find out. So I'm actually playing on a desktop for the first time instead of my iPad or iPhone, and I'm not seeing who the host of the table is here. Okay, nice little 7 signal from my partner, but I am waiting for an ace for a special hand. There we go. 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and that's it. So I don't know if everybody could see that I had a 4. I had started off with 4 6s, 3 5s. There's my gay hand. 4 6s, 3 5s, 3 deuces. So I only needed that one card for a special hand. Okay. In case anybody hadn't noticed, my left-hand opponent likes to throw 4s in the beginning of the game. That's the third time that my left-hand opponent, threw a 4 to start off. So let's see. I'm not a bad start here for a 155 game. 3 4s. Also, that's giving me nice safe discards down the road, but I'm going to hold on to my little 4s. It might be useful for melding. They might be useful for picking the deck, or they might be great discards later on if we don't meld. So meanwhile, I'm trying to keep track of my opponents. This person's discard, so that 9 is clutch. I have to remember all of her discards. The first discard was a 4. The second discard was a 9. I think that's a third 4 to come on out of the deck. That's the fourth 4. And now, take a risk with the king. But if I get another ace, it's always better to be the side to meld with aces. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I have 150 without the ace. But if you are the side to meld with aces, or if your side happens to meld with aces, the reason it is so much easier for the whole rest of the game is you don't have to both guard your 7s by holding 2 7s, and you don't have to guard the aces and to prevent the opponents from getting 7 natural aces. So you inevitably can never go out if you don't meld with aces. You're always holding on to 2 aces and 2 7s between you and your partner, and it's very unlikely that you'll have a chance to to meld. So here, so she's taking up the deck with all the 4s. Those little 4s she's never going to discard them. So I think at this point it's fine for me to get rid of them and try to build a better Canasta formula, just because I'll never, there's no point to sit around and get the deck. She's never going to give me a 4. And so I'm going to always, in this situation, try to meld and just get my Tolan, not waste time being coy and having a legitimate meld to take the deck. JGG is having a few problems trying to meld, and didn't understand the concept. Need clean. Let me just remind them. Need clean 3. She keeps putting walkouts on things, so where's her triple? All right, well, now I'm not going to waste any time, so I don't want my partner giving away the deck. All right. So luckily, look at that interesting thing. Got 2 extra 4s. my right-hand opponent is not going to ever suspect that. So could be if she had one, she would discard it. We'll see. And if not, at least I have more safe discards. So there's 5 4s in the deck, and since I have 2 of them, I guess it's unlikely that this person here is actually going to get. Well, I do wish that this one would not put down all their cards. Kind of making it difficult for me to maintain. All right, I'm hoping that ace is a signal, but we shall see. Never certain of things like that with new partners and new players here. Okay, on a roll here, I'll put my king down and I'll conceal the rest of my cards, I do believe. Ah, nice work. Nice work, Michael. Now I'll be able to put my 9 in 5th position. In base of 3, people get sloppy, and they seem to just flop down wild cards for no reason. Here, I like to make sure that I have a reason, a compelling reason to put a wild card down. There isn't any, until we have 2 canastas, I'm not going to flop down any wild cards if I had any more, because I do believe that if I had just flopped down a wild card on the 10s and that was not going to become the canasta I could close, it seems that a waste. I could have ended up stranded here with no canastas and wild cards randomly scattered around the table. So I think what we'll do now is try to play it conservatively, hope to either pick a wild card, 10, maybe another jack. If there's a 4 discarded, I will certainly be grabbing that, even though there's probably a bunch of aces in there now. All right, well on our way here. I'm going to hold on to this ace for a little bit longer just because I haven't seen too many discard. I know my partner threw one, but many people forget that if I have not melded with aces, we need to actually guard them as well. So as soon as I meld without aces, oftentimes my my partners will not recognize the fact that their ace is a signal the same way that a 7 would be a signal. So let's see what I can do here. I'm just going to stall a little bit because there isn't any reason for me to put the jack down. She could go out if she had a wild card by putting it anywhere. If she has a jack, she can put it down herself. And I'm holding on to that for a safe discard in case JGG happens to meld. All right, so I'm going to just play this other hand, see if this gets a little more interesting. But now there are 180, we might be a little slow. So if that's the case, I will probably end this broadcast as my very first welcome to Canasta Junction and Canasta with Lindsay1. We'll give it a chance just to see how. Oh, hold on, take a quick look. Oh, hello. I was so engrossed in my game, I didn't actually realize that you were stuck looking at my face, and instead of concentrating on the play here. So what is going on with this hand? This hand is never going to meld at 180. So here in this hand, I'm going to try to hold on to pairs of smaller cards if I get any, and just randomly chuck the larger cards that are safe now, that I don't have to. That I don't think anybody's picking up the deck with 3 cards in it. It seems a complete waste of your turn, because if you actually meld, draw a card, meld, and then go to 4-card Talon, you'll be much better off. So, I don't like getting rid of my little cards, but if I, it depends how this hand is shaping up. If my partner has a good hand, they might need to discard a 7 to meld at 180, and so I'm going to now change my strategy. Oh, looky, looky. Give some accolades. That was a very fast 180. And there's, oh, I mean, I'm a little bit of a matcher, so let's see. 45 plus 69. Well, look at that. Nicely done. So my left-hand opponent, if I can remember correctly, had thrown a 7 in response to her partner. And I think the very first discard, since she always goes first, I think the first discard was a 4. But since my partner has so few cards left, I can't afford to be too coy. I am going to hold this 5, and I'm going to hold my pair of 4s for just a little bit longer. Okay, so as soon as they picked up a card that and replaced the 3, I know that they can't take the deck. So what do I throw? A queen, and no, this person's throwing a 10. There comes another 4, my partner. With my partner only has 4 cards left, we're never going to be able to close anything if I don't get this deck. I guess I could pick up a 10. We could close 1 canasta, but that would be sort of a shame. Even if my partner gives away the deck here, I don't mind. Hopefully, she'll throw an ace if she has a chance to instead of putting it down. And with that in mind, I would have put down my 2 jacks. Certainly now they'll be safe throws because my left-hand opponent won't ever be able to pick them up. Probably not a good move. My partner definitely should have thrown that ace. We'll be here for a little bit now while she sorts out this deck. But at least this will give me a good count of everything. And maybe... Well, this could be an interesting strategy discussion. So I am pretty sure that my right-hand opponent, with all of these cards, is going to, at first, throw a few 7s. She may eventually get around to throwing an ace. I would like for her to come clean, put down how many jacks she has, so I know what is possible to discard. So I do believe there was a jack. No, I thought there was a jack in the discard pile. If they get to the 4th jack, then these are safe discards and I won't have to bother keeping them in my hand. But let's find out. All right, we have 1,000 points in threes. It'd be nice to get a canasta. Certainly nicer to get 2 canastas, but I'm gonna hold on to my wild card to see what my partner draws. All right, good girl. Good girl. Getting closer. I gotta count on these fours. I think there were 4 in there. So, come on, baby. There we go. Let's see. Maybe she'll have a wild card left. Let's see. Her last card might be a wild card. If she picks up an ace and I wasted my wild card, I'm going to be a little pissed. Just a little pissed. All right. A valiant effort. They're going to probably go out. And we'll play the next hand. Oh, looky, looky. Looky, looky. There's 1,500 points in threes at risk here. If my partner can draw a wild card, we'll be good to go, baby. Yeah. Looky, looky. That'd be nice pickup. Well, it might be game. We have 20. Oh, no. I think this is already counting our points. So this would take us, look at the score. This is going to be exactly 8,500. It's going to be exactly 8,500. But I don't think it subtracts out what's left in my hand. If my partner happens to put down another wild card, that could take us over the top, even after subtracting my hand. All right, that's a game. So I'm going to sign off here. It's a little slow for me, and I'm going to sign off on my first broadcast. Go back to the lobby, and thank you very much. Thanks for joining me in my very first Canasta with Lindsay1 broadcast. Thanks for sitting through this slightly boring game, but at least you'll see some of the logistics, get a sense of a little of my strategy.